Hi students, I'm Sonia from Vidya Guru, starting a new session on current affairs. Current affairs for the month of February 2021. So as we are going to start this session, I wish to tell you that this session is going to be completely in English medium for the students, for our students from South India, for our students from Northeast India, those who are unable to understand Hindi well. I'll start this session, but if you're not comfortable with the English session, you can switch to the Hindi session. That is also there in the playlist for those students who are not comfortable with English language. I'll start the session, but before starting, if you like the session, please press the like button for sure. Share the video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Vidya Guru's YouTube channel. Do subscribe the channel, and apart from that, you have to press the bell icon as well. If you press the bell icon, you receive the notifications of all the exam relevant videos which we upload. I'll start the session. From here on, you have to be super attentive. The first question is about our armed forces. Armed forces, not our armed forces, but something relevant, something related to our country only, and that is armed forces that took part in our Republic Day parade. Must be thinking, all armed forces take part in Republic Day parade. What new are you teaching? The new thing is, the thing which I wish to mention here is that Bangladesh armed forces took part in our Republic Day parade. So other nation was the part. That is why the question becomes important for us. India France Year of Environment 2021. That means for they've actually made 2021. They are going to celebrate 2021 as Year of Environment. Who? India and France. So if they ask you such a question, like with which country India is going to celebrate Year of Environment, that is France. So India and France, they are celebrating 2021 as Year of Environment. I'll move to the other point, and that is Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. As I was talking about the Year of Environment, I have to discuss this fellow, and his name is Prakash Javadekar. Prakash Javadekar handles Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry. Let's move to the other question. Yuddha Abhyas. Yuddha Abhyas is basically an exercise between India and United States of America. So USA and India, that was the exercise took place. I've actually taught you about this exercise in many videos previously also. But Yuddha Abhyas this time took place at Rajasthan. As it took place in Rajasthan, the venue is important because those who have been, studying from me, they have heard Yuddha Abhyas from me too, and they may have read somewhere else also that Yuddha Abhyas take place often, and I'm saying between India and USA, and this time the venue was Rajasthan. That's the important thing for you. Let's move to the other point. NSO. You may call it for National Statistical Office. This organization is called, the full form of NSO is National Statistical Office, or you can actually call it like that. So NSO's national income data, as per that, they've revised their revised estimate of GDP growth rate. Here the financial years are significant. Financial year, when I refer to 18-19 or 19-20, so as per that, their revised estimate is 4% GDP growth rate for financial year 2019 and 2020. Be careful, I'm referring to the years here. 19-20 revised estimate came out to be 4%. GDP growth rate financial year revised GDP growth rate for financial year 2018-19 has got revised too, and their revised estimate here for 18-19 came out to be 6.5%. So don't forget that. Be careful of all this data. Let's move ahead. Now I'll actually talk about a few books. I'll start with them, and the first one, which is This Life at Play. This Life at Play is the memoir of late Girish Karnad. People generally pronounce it as memoir. I am saying it is memoir. Memoir is the right pronunciation of the word memoir. We are referring to notes, memorandum, official notes, memoir. So This Life at Play is the memoir of late Girish Karnad. Don't forget the name of the person who's related with this memoir, author of the Little Book of Encouragement. Dalai Lama is very, very famous. Everybody knows him. So, Dalai Lama's book, The Little Book of Encouragement. The name, the word book exists. That's how you'll be able to retain it. The Little Book of Encouragement, Dalai Lama's book. Hamid Ansari's book, By Many a Happy Accident. By Many a Happy Accident is the book of Hamid Ansari. But how this book becomes important for us? We all know the Dalai Lama, and we have heard about Girish Karnad as well. Hamid Ansari remained a vice president, erstwhile vice president. That is why even Hamid Ansari and his book becomes important for us. That was By Many a Happy Accident. Let's move to the other question. First state in India to launch e-cabinet. What does it mean? E-cabinet, that means related with email. So e-cabinet. Himachal Pradesh cabinet, first state which is going to be completely paperless. That's what I'm actually trying to tell you here. That HP state cabinet has gone completely paperless. They have registered their name as first state cabinet to be completely paperless. They have become e-cabinet now. So Himachal Pradesh is the state behind it. Let's move ahead. India's first geothermal energy project, geothermal power plant, geothermal energy project. I've actually written it in the brackets as geothermal power plant. That means geothermal energy project can be written as geothermal power plant also. So it is India's first, which is going to come up in Ladakh. And the organization behind it is ONGC. The organization, the PSU behind it is ONGC. ONGC is building this geothermal energy project. And when I move ahead with Lakhwar electricity hydro power project, that's what I'm actually trying to refer here. That is Lakhwar electricity project to come up on a river, and the name of that river is Yamuna. So Lakhwar hydro electricity power project to come up on the Yamuna. So that's the name of the river on which Lakhwar is going to come up. And if you wish to know the place, to be very precise, it is Dehradun. Dehradun is in Uttarakhand. So the place for Lakhwar is Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Let's move ahead. Financial Literacy Week 2021. Week does not mean that 7 days have to be there. They are celebrating something where one day is not there. Otherwise, we would have called it Financial Literacy Day. So we are not calling it Financial Literacy Day, as it has collection of days, it has multiple days. That is why we are calling it Financial Literacy Week for 2021, celebrated from 8th February to 12th February. So learn it like that. And it had some theme as well. And the theme seems so significant to credit, discipline and credit from formal institutions. See, the word credit has come twice. Learn it like that, although it sounds difficult, but you will be able to learn it. Credit, discipline and credit from formal institutions. Credit, discipline and credit from formal institutions. Credit, discipline and credit from formal institutions. That was the theme kept for Financial Literacy Week. World Cancer Day is celebrated on 4th February, and the theme which was kept, that is I am and I will. Together all our actions matter. So that was the theme. That is basically considered to be the theme for multiple years, the theme for 3 years basically. So I am and I will, together all our actions matter. That's the theme for World Cancer Day, which is observed on 4th February. Let's move ahead. 4-tier NBFC regulatory framework proposed by RBI. Be careful, as this question is going to be there in one or the other exam for sure. Very, very careful and very, very focused. The question can be asked in various ways. They may ask you like who has actually launched it, which organization has launched it, that is RBI. For which organization it has been launched, that is, they are NBFCs. How many tiers, that means how many levels are there. So there are 4 levels. We'll be talking about all of them in short. 4-tier NBFC regulatory framework launched by, proposed by RBI. RBI wants to classify, as banks are also classified. When I talk about banks, I refer to banks as domestic systemically important banks. That means they are that important. They also are placed. They are also placed in categories as per their size. So I am saying NBFC should be actually classified as per their sizes too. So they are planning to categorize them in 4 layers. What are those 4 layers? One is base layer. When you move ahead, when you move upwards, there'll be middle layer. When you move even further upward, then in that case, it is going to be upper layer, and the topmost layer, I'm saying possible top layer. So base, middle, upper, and possible top layer. These are the 4 tiers basically categorized by RBI for NBFCs. NBFCs will be actually placed in these tiers. So when I actually talk about the other point, which is the lower one, which states that new regulatory superstructure for NBFC upper layer. When somebody says BL, NBFC BL, we are NBFC ML, or maybe UL, you have to understand what they are referring to. They're talking about upper layer NBFCs, they're talking about middle layer NBFCs, they are calling themselves base layer NBFCs. So I've written something there on the lower point, which mentions actually new regulatory superstructure. See, when an NBFC is there in base level, when an NBFC is there in middle layer, base layer or middle layer, but when they are actually when they have actually come into upper layer, they have become so huge, so important, obviously for every for any economy. So when I talk about upper layer, they need to have some stricter, they have to follow some stricter criteria. So I am saying new regulatory superstructure for upper layer NBFCs, not for base layer, not for middle layer. I'm saying for the upper layer ones, they'll have new regulatory superstructure for them. When I actually go to the lowest point, which states that NBFC NPA classification form of 180 days be harmonized to 90 days. I feel that students will not be able to understand what is written here. I'll make it easier for you. I have a loan account. NBFC has provided me a loan and I'm repaying the loan. But somehow I'm unable to pay the loan. NBFCs, before placing or before making my account before actually placing me or calling me an NPA account, they used to wait for 180 days. Now those days have been reduced to only 90 days. If I am not paying them loan installment back, if I've stopped paying it and for 90 days I've stopped paying it, I am not paying them the loan back, those NBFCs will classify my loan account as NPA. That means non-performing assets. My loan account has become a non-performing asset for that NBFC, and they'll declare it only in 90 days. So those days have been reduced to 90 days now. Let's move ahead. Understand the word integrated. That means they are going to integrate, they are going to club something. And what are they going to club? What is that? First of all, what is ombudsman? Many of you are not even familiar with ombudsman. When I talk about ombudsman is a government official. Ombudsman is a government official. That person, that ombudsman actually handles the complaints of general public. If I am, a person wants to place a complaint against my bank that they are not providing me, my funds basically on time, or they take too much time, or they are not actually, I am not happy with the services of my bank. So I can approach somebody outside the bank, and that is ombudsman. He is a government servant, government employee who will take my complaint. I'm a general public to that person. My complaint will be addressed by ombudsman. So that ombudsman is there for a bank as well. Ombudsman is there for NBFCs also. Ombudsman are there for digital transactions also. So they are going to integrate all. One entity, one person, one scheme will be there, which is going to handle NBFC bank and digital transactions all. which were separate earlier. Now, customers will be able to file complaints for banks, NBFCs and digital transactions, digital wallets under one scheme. That's what I'm trying to convey here. That is going to roll out. That schedule, the scheduled rollout for it is June 2021. That means this scheme will start from June 2021. Let's move ahead. Shehtut or Lalandar. Shehtut or Lalandar, that's the same name, Shehtut or Lalandar. That's the name of the dam which India is constructing in Afghanistan. This is the second major dam India is constructing in Afghanistan. So the other question which is going to come into your mind, that is, what is the name of the first dam that India has constructed in Afghanistan? The name of that dam was Salma Dam. Salma Dam was constructed by India in Afghanistan. The second dam is Shehtut Dam, which they are constructing in Afghanistan. Shehtut Dam is also called Lalandar Dam. And Afghanistan's president becomes important for us here, and his name is Ashraf Ghani, because we are talking about Afghanistan. See, when we talk about a dam, the name of the river becomes significant for us. The name of the river is Maidan River. But when you start searching Shehtut Dam, you may find there's a possibility that you may find written as Kabul River Basin. Kabul River Basin, but does not matter. They are also talking about Maidan River. Why I have written that it is a tributary of Kabul? Kabul is the name of the river. Kabul is main river, as Ganga is the main river. Yamuna is the tributary of Ganga. Yamuna is the associate, as in tributary of Ganga. Similarly, Kabul, main river, and the tributary is Maidan River. On that Maidan River, this Shehtut Dam is being built by India. Ashraf Ghani is the president of Afghanistan. Let's move ahead. United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, that is UNCTAD. I wish to say, according to United Nations, India received FDI, foreign direct investment. FDI received by India is $57 billion. Whatever we have received from outside as in not from India, from other nations, that is $57 billion FDI received by India. Here, I wish to tell you something. Even in 2019, we received FDI. That is what we received in 2020, which is $57 billion. It is more, 13% more when you compare it with 2019. What we received in 2019 and what we received in 2020, it is 13% more than the previous year. They actually classify them on the basis of like which country has received maximum FDI. So the classification, as per that classification, China remained on top. Number 1 FDI recipient was China. Number 2, USA. Let's move ahead. PM addresses 125th anniversary celebrations of monthly journal Prabudh Bharat. Prabudh Bharat, why Prabudh Bharat is important, and we are celebrating 125th anniversary. Please understand, it was established by Swami Vivekananda himself in 1896. Swami Vivekananda established or started this Prabudh Bharat journal kind of newspaper. So this newspaper, monthly journal, monthly newspaper, Prabudh Bharat, was started by Swami Vivekananda. So it is that important. So it was addressed, it was actually PM participated in its 125th anniversary of Prabudh Bharat. Don't forget that. Postal stamp was launched to mark beginning of centenary celebrations of Chauri Chaura incident. Chauri Chaura incident, we all know, if you read history, if you have learned something from Chauri Chaura incident. So that Chauri Chaura incident, we are recalling that sad event. Postal stamp was launched actually to mark that the beginning of cent 100 centenary 100th year is starting. So that is why postal stamp was launched to commemorate that actually Chauri Chaura incident only. So don't forget the name, that recently which incident or what is actually being recalled? We are actually trying to recall Chauri Chaura incident in a postal stamp. Let's move ahead. Now, when I actually talk about awardees here, I need to tell you that I am going to discuss about gallantry awards here, and the precedence here is that what is basically the order of these awards? Gallantry awards, gallantry, bravery awards I'm referring to, which are actually given to the people. When I actually talk about the sequence here, Paramveer Chakra is on the top. Ashok Chakra comes after that, Mahavir Chakra, Kirti Chakra, Veer Chakra, Shaurya Chakra. That is basically the sequence I'm referring to. But you have to understand, there are wartime awards and there are peacetime awards. So we have to understand that as well. For example, when we talk about Paramveer Chakra, it is given to the people during the wartime. So wartime topmost award is Paramveer Chakra. I'll talk about peacetime awards also, but here I'm going to talk about the name of the person who received it. Mahavir Chakra awardee, Colonel Bhikkhu Malla Santosh Babu. Bhikkhu Malla Santosh Babu. Colonel Bhikkhu Malla Santosh Babu remained the recipient of Mahavir Chakra. Let's move ahead and look at it. We are going to talk about Kirti Chakra awardees here. The first name is Subedar Sanjeev Kumar, Rahul Mathur, Vinod Kumar, Shyam Narayan Singh Yadav, Pintu Kumar Singh. These are the people who received Kirti Chakra awardees. The lower point states something here, and that is Ashok Chakra and Kirti Chakra. When I actually talk about Ashok Chakra and Kirti Chakra, and when I say that they are the highest gallantry awards in India, you need to understand I'm referring to peacetime. That is why I've classified Paramveer Chakra as wartime award and highest wartime award. Now I'm talking about peacetime award. So peacetime, Ashok Chakra and Kirti Chakra are the highest and second highest respectively peacetime gallantry awards in India. So first one, the topmost peacetime is Ashok Chakra. Kirti Chakra is the second highest peacetime gallantry award. So these recipients have received that second highest peacetime gallantry award, that is Kirti Chakra. Let's move ahead. Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana. When you understand Hindi a bit, Matru Vandana, that means we are relating it with mothers. So the beneficiaries have crossed 1.75 crores. That means those many people, those many mothers, got benefited. So Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana, that's the full form of PMMVY. You have to keep that in mind too. And beneficiaries have crossed 1.75 crores. Learn that too. And I was talking about it in a way that it is a government maternity benefit scheme. It is government's maternity benefit scheme, Matru Vandana Yojana, which is Matri Vandana Yojana. So it comes under Ministry of Women and Child Development. As even the name states that it comes under Women and Child Development. And who heads this ministry? Who's the Union Minister? Union Minister for Women and Child Development Ministry is Smriti Zubin Irani. Learn the name of the person, Union Minister also. Let's move ahead. Now we'll start talking about PM Swanidhi scheme a little. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. If I've written it as MOHUA, don't get worried. I was about to tell you the full form of it. I was saying that Ministry of Housing, Urban Affairs has signed MOU with Zomato under PM Swanidhi scheme. If you are not familiar with what Swanidhi is, what is the full form of Swanidhi, you will not be able to understand why they have signed an MOU with Zomato. And they have signed this similar sort of MOU earlier with Swiggy also. They are probably trying to benefit street vendors. That's the full form of PM Swanidhi, yes. Prime Minister, SV Street Vendors, AN Atmanirbhar Nidhi. So Prime Minister, Street Vendor, Atmanirbhar Nidhi, that's the full form of PM Swanidhi Under this scheme, they are trying to benefit street vendors. That's what I was trying to tell you, that this is the scheme which is going to take street vendors online. Obviously, we wish to benefit them. We wish to, we really wish that they must expand their business, and how they can easily do it. Zomato and Swiggy are going to help them. They are going to register with them, obviously. So their business will be taken online that way. Let's move ahead. Third phase of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Okay. PMKVY, KV is not Kendriya Vidyalaya here, it is Kaushal Vikas. So Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, third phase of it is launched by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Ministry is handled by, as in, who's the Union Minister here? Dr. Mahendra Nath Pandey. Dr. Mahendra Nath Pandey. You have not heard this name before, at least from me. I have not, disclosed it. So this is new. Mahendra Nath Pandey, Dr. Mahendra Nath Pandey is the Union Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Ministry, which has launched third phase of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Let's move ahead. Residential schools and hostels will be renamed. You listen to such things from me a lot, because even nowadays this is happening even more, that they are changing names. So the name is getting changed again. Residential schools and hostels under Samagra Shiksha of Ministry of Education, they are going to be renamed as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Residential Schools and Hostels. Now, under which scheme? Samagra Shiksha scheme. This scheme is obviously of Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education, who's the Union Minister? Union Minister is Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank. Yes, the same one who was handling HRD earlier. So it is not that he is handling Ministry of Education besides HRD. HRD has got renamed. HRD was renamed, Human Resource Development Ministry was renamed, and it has become Ministry of Education now. So Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank is handling Ministry of Education, and Samagra Shiksha comes under it. This is the name of the scheme, and residential schools and hostels will be Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Residential Schools and Hostels from now. Let's move ahead. Nepal's hydroelectric project which is going to come up in Nepal, and what we have to do with it, India is actually building this hydroelectric project in Nepal for Nepal. So India's Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam, India's preparing is building it there. Lower Arun Hydro Project for Nepal, in Nepal, India is building it, and India's Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam is actually building it for Nepal. PM of Nepal here, he becomes important for us, and his name is KP Sharma Oli, and we have heard his name a lot many times. KP Sharma Oli is the Prime Minister of Nepal. Let's move ahead. President of Asian Cricket Council. The president is Jay Shah. Must be thinking that from BCCI, how come Asian Cricket Council now? See, please understand, in Asia, there are many countries. Our influence in terms of cricket, in the sport cricket, is way more than any other nation. We all know that. So, such an influential nation can actually place its president there in such organization. So priority is given to such nations. So President of Asian Cricket Council, Jay Shah, obviously the son of Amit Shah. Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, re-elected President of Portugal. That means Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa was the President of Portugal earlier as well, and now he has become the President again. Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa has become the President of Portugal again. I am using the name again and again so that you can actually learn this name easily. New Chairman of National Safety Council, He is CEO and MD of Larsen and Toubro. His name is S.N. Subramanian. And if you wish to know, National Safety Council comes under the purview of Ministry of Labour and Employment. There's a possibility I feel that students are not aware of such a question, that National Safety Council comes under Labour and Employment Ministry. Learn that as well. Here I'm going to wrap it up. If you could not understand anything, you can switch to the Hindi session. If you understood everything, please press the like button, and thanks for watching.